Come on, don't give up on me, man.
I'm not wearing a watch.
He's
dead, Jim.
This is a Bucky skeleton. This is a third quality medical skeleton. You can get these on Amazon and stuff like that. Actually, lots of sources, but they are rated. They're graded by scale. So this one has little errors in it. Not really so much anatomical, but just molding errors. A little flash here, a little texture that didn't take or something like that. So you can get these pretty cheap. A really bad one you can get for about $90. A decent one, a pretty good one you can get for about $130. But really?
He's creepy otherwise. Now he's comical.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Now it got macabre.
We have two of these for two games, but we don't want him just to be bones. We want him to be a corpse. These things are fully articulated and stuff, so that they can be posed. And we're gonna put beef jerky on this guy. Preston and I both have decent knowledge of anatomy.
I have no idea what's going on.
I'm going to use latex and cotton. I'll show you that in a little bit to corpsify this guy. So he's not just bones; he is a rotted, dried out corpse. So we're gonna do that.
We're on so many FBI watch lists now with all these Amazon
my
orders.
Google search or my my Amazon history is really messed up. All right, we need to name him and his buddy. I've mixed up my latex, and I'm just going to pour a little bit into this container, and I'll work from this container. What I'm going to be doing is making a matrix of cotton and latex. I'll use rolled cotton, which is this stuff right here. I've got quite a bit of this. It's a fairly thick layer of cotton, and you can peel it into smaller layers and kind of work with it that way. This is our muscle fiber. This is the glue that holds the muscle fiber together and will also form a skin, because it's latex, and that's what it does. It's used to make masks and stuff. In fact, actually, it's a good thing I said that as a stupid joke. This is called slip latex. This is a high solids, low odor slip latex. This is the stuff they used to pour and make monster masks with. You can buy it from monster mask companies. There is a thicker variety of this that is called, it's a mold making latex. This is the stuff that you would cast with as opposed to what you would mold with. Mold with stuff, or stuff you would make a mold from, is thicker so you can glom it onto something and make a mold that's pure latex. We don't do that, we use silicone. You've seen that already. So we're gonna start putting some muscle, some dried skin and bits of gristle on our skeletons. Mixing up some epoxy right now. I don't know if you can see this. I picked this guy up so I could start doing his neck hole, and one of his teeth fell out. All these teeth are actually cast separately. They give you an idea of the quality of these things. And this is the cheap one. This is not a Halloween skeleton, but these medical skeletons, even though this is a poor grade medical skeleton as far as how it came out of the cast, its intention is to be really high fidelity, and it is. So anyway, I'm just going to drop a little bit of epoxy right along the gum line, and that's going to get covered up with some meat, but it should at least keep the teeth from falling out. I'm going to say this really quickly. Before the epoxy sets, I'm going to wipe off the excess from the front of the teeth and everything, because if I didn't do that, it would be glossy, and there's almost no way to get rid of that gloss except for repainting them, which I don't want to have to do. using epoxy is a way to make eyeballs glassy. If you're making a mannequin or something like that and it's supposed to have glassy eyeballs, and you can make it yellow or non-yellow depending on if you use yellowing or non-yellowing epoxy. Yeah. The mass of the skeleton is done. I've done the spine, but there needs to be muscles that tie the head to the rest of the body, the neck muscles. And they're all dried out and withered and stuff like that, but they're still there. And right now, if it's just a skull sitting on top of the spine, it looks a little too skeletal, and we're trying to go with dead body and not skeleton. So that's next. And then I'm going to do both hands and feet. Basically, these are all just the parts that are showing in his clothing. So I'll do the arms up to about here and feet, and well, you can watch me do that.
I like the fleshy hole.
Yeah. Hey, I've skipped ahead a little bit and got some of this stuff, or did some of this stuff off camera. What I'm doing right now is the first of 2 washes that I'm going to do, and then a final, probably a dry brush, I'm not sure, or possibly another wash. This is basically a dark brown. It is some burnt umber mixed with black. And this is a liquid acrylic, so I just had to add a little bit of water to this to make a wash out of it. So what I will do is brush this into all of the crevices and nooks and crannies and stuff like that. Mostly the nooks, not so much the crannies. And then wipe most of that out. And the latex takes enough of it that it gives me this nice tea stain effect, and then also I get dark accents in all of the little gaps in the, it's what a wash is for. So now you'll notice I'm not wearing gloves. This is acrylic paint. I've got it thinned out. The reason I'm not wearing gloves is that I got to jam my hands down and wipe stuff down inside the neck cavity between these muscles, inside there. And if I were to wear gloves and do that, trying to keep my hands clean, well, my glove would end up getting stuck on the latex and stuff. It's a bit, it's like rubber. So it'd end up peeling my gloves off anyway, and it would just get in my way. So I'm perfectly okay with just letting my hands get dirty. I'll use a little artist turpentine later on to take this acrylic off. So we're going to do this all over everything, including the areas that I didn't do anything to. So this part of the pelvis down here will also get a wash so that it all blends together. Even though that's probably never going to be seen, it's one of our little completionist. Well, it's really sort of an obsession. It's like an OCD problem. So. I'm going to keep doing that. We'll do a little footage of it, and then we'll come back and do a second wash to add more meat. Hey guys, all right, so here we are with our corpses. I've got bone poking out here and there. They're looking horrible. This is the last step. So what I've done so far is I've done 2 different washes on this. So the latex itself comes out a really pus yellow, just out of the bucket. That's how it dries. That's a great starting point. The washes, what you saw me do was paint a very thinned out acrylic on and then wipe away almost all of it. Just whatever was retained in the little crevices and stuff like that is what is remaining. Now we're going to do the opposite of that. A dry brush is, I've still got thinned out paint. This is black because I'm just going to add a little bit of charring carbon at this point. But what I want to do is I want to wipe this to the point where, if I'm showing you this, where it's basically my brush is almost completely dry. And I'm doing that because all I want to do is have the paint show up on the high points. Instead of it being the low points like the wash was, this is all about high points. And let me see if I can. And what it's going to do is pick up or almost highlight all the little edges. So it's just picking up that little bit, and it makes the texture kind of jump out at you. This is a very minimal step, but the effect is really dramatic. How much it makes everything pop out. If I overdo this, I am still in a position to wipe it off. It's one of the nice things about using this thinned out paint is that I've still got a really decent amount of control. Now, if I really wanted to make this look burned, I can just do this a bit more. It's a matter of degrees. And by doing this in such thin little passes, I can always go heavier. So we're going to do that over the whole thing, and we'll keep doing that. Really, this step it's maybe 15 minutes on each one. That guy's already done. I'm just doing this guy yet, and next we eat. Remember these pounce bags? I'm not sure if that video's come out yet, but these are pounce bags, and they're actually sold by wardrobe companies, and faux artists use them. And we're actually using them for their intended purpose here, which is aging clothes. So I'm gonna, this thing is his mechanic jumpsuit, his aviation mechanic-y jumpsuit. So I'm putting all kinds of soot and wear and stuff like that in all the areas where it would get aged. So that's what we're doing. We're gonna age Matt faster than normal. Pockets get really dirty. Around the collar gets really dirty. I'll do the inside and the outside. A couple of things. One, we would love it if somebody out there would name our 2 corpses. So just be creative, and the best one wins. And they'll be handed off under those names. We're about to put clothes on him. Cut to me alone. This is weird. Me alone in the studio last night at about 8 o'clock, sanding myself, sanding the jumpsuit before we aged it with Matt. We're about to put clothes on him, and we have this pair of Matt's old combat boots. We were looking at it and said to ourselves, well, Preston did these beautiful little feet. Well, I say beautiful, but
they're actually kind of hideous. But
they are wonderful. So, and they just really sang in the paint job, and we didn't want to lose that. So I said, well, in the 3rd episode of Band of Brothers, that guy has his boot blown open, and his foot is all messed up in there. How about we do that? So what about tearing this boot up so that you can still see the foot in the boot? And Preston stopped me.
Mark actually talked to me a while ago when he was in art school. He said one of the most important lessons he learned as an artist is when to just take your hands off of a project, because it can be really easy to get too deep into a project and go overboard. And this was kind of one of those things. Mark pitched the idea to me of opening the boot up so that we could stuff the foot forward so we could see that detail of the foot, but I was just too worried that with everything else, it's just going to be a little too much.
When somebody says, hey, it looks good, it looks good, just back away before you screw it up, basically is what it is. So we're going to dress these guys in their little flight suits, and each one gets one boot. That way we can see the other foot. Woo, woo.
Okay.
Go team. This is, we got some dried blood on this guy. We gave Matt orange juice and cookies, and theoretically he can replace it. So, but just the right amount of dried blood. All right, guys, it's up to you to name the corpses. Send us the most creative thing you can think of. We'll choose the winners based on how much we like them. And we'll be doing installations soon. That's going to be pretty interesting stuff. It's how everything goes together in the actual room. We haven't done that yet, and so that's going to be coming soon. Make sure you push the notification button so you can see that stuff happen.